Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Last City STEWPOT edition. I am your host and GM. Well, no, not GM today. I'm so used to the bit. I am your host.
You.
Yeah. I am your host, Austin. My pronouns are he and him. This stream is presented by You Don't Meet in an Inn, an actual play podcast about exploring obscure tabletop role-playing games with a rotating cast. And today we are going to be playing Takuma Okada's STEWPOT, Tales from a Fantasy Adventure. Tales from a Fantasy Tavern. Getting my words all mixed up here. And this evening I'm of course joined by Christine.
Hello, I'm Christine. I'm going to be playing Dwarfy. We don't know what her career is going to be so far, but she used to be a mage. You can call me she or they as long as you call me.
Thank you. Also with us this evening is Sasha.
Hey, hi, it's me, Sasha, your old friend. I'm playing Madame V, who is a tree, who can sing, who does ride a moose named Gentleman Moose, and is, I think, aging really super well. I'm gonna use eds if you want to catch my attention for something, I guess, or talk about me behind my back. Either is fine.
And also with us is, of course, Hadrian.
Yep, that's me. My pronouns are going to be he, him, and I'm playing Viper, who used to be a fighter, and now we're going to figure out what she's doing after retirement.
Yeah.
Probably still fighting.
And since this is a GM-less game, I will be playing Hanar, who was the bosun of the Quodlibet. So yes, STEWPOT is, let me just read the introduction. You've all been adventuring for a while now. It's a tough job, and it doesn't get any easier as you get older. Many adventurers eventually retire to run taverns, offering shelter, food, and advice to a younger generation. It's what you all have decided to do. STEWPOT, Tales from a Fantasy Tavern, tells the story of a tavern run by your characters, who are a party of former adventurers. It's a game about hanging up your weapons, selling off your armor, and integrating back into society. So, the way STEWPOT works is we play a story told through a variety of mini-games, and each of those games represents a closer look at a certain amount of time that passes at the tavern. The recommendation is that one game represents a month, but that can be flexible. It could be a week, a season, a day, a year, whatever feels appropriate. I think a month feels good, though. You know? Really keeps the pace of the life that we found for ourselves after our adventure a bit more sedate than were it a week or day. But I think a year or season might be a bit too long. All right. So, first thing we need to do is we need to build our tavern. So, the first thing we have to decide is the location for the tavern. It's a fundamental part of the story that we want to tell about our tavern. Are we going to be competing with other taverns in a bustling city? Do we want to be in the middle of nowhere, the only place for miles around? Or like a tavern in a little town? So, who has some thoughts on the tavern that will be the center of our story?
There's some discussion about using the Quodlibet as like a traveling opera company.
Yeah, we could modify the game a bit so that it's not a tavern and instead is an opera house of some A floating opera house.
It's a series of pop-up taverns at every port.
In fact, one of the example locations is floating in water or air.
I like that.
Yeah?
Especially because of the enchantments on the ship that make it especially good for being in water, in any kind of water at any time.
Here it sails itself.
It sure, you know what? It sure does.
That's not what it
I mean,
does.
he's certainly not selling it, so.
All right. So, we're just doing it right on the ship. Awesome. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So that sort of answers the next question, which is, what's the look? One of the examples is boat.
Look is
like
boat.
A boat. God, it looks so much like a boat. Just eerily similar to a boat in every way. Almost every way, actually.
Yeah. All right, it's a boat. What's the name of our establishment?
Quodlibet?
Like, yes.
Quodlibet 2. The quadgeting.
Still the same boat. Nothing's changed. We just
The
decided.
polyphonic Quodlibet.
We've got a whole new reference for calling it the Electric Boogaloo, though.
So no changes to the name. Just still the Quodlibet.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh.
You know,
problem with that.
don't mess with a good brand, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So, as part of this, our establishment will have a rating across three, or I think it's 3 categories. Yeah, 3 categories with a rating of 1 to 4, I think. Yes. So,
Keep the record. for
yeah, I'm
establishment.
putting it on the Roll20.
Okay.
That is, I hate that Roll20 lies when you're using text. That it's like,
Oh yeah, it doesn't show you your spaces in your library.
oh, not even that. I just mean like the font size. Because like when you change the font size, it gets real big, but as soon as you click away from the text box,
Look.
it shrinks back down.
One thing I know, having done any amount of graphic design in my life, is that font sizes are fake anyway. So
Okay. So the first rating is cuisine, which determines our tavern's, well, we'll see if it's still a tavern.
There's a bar.
Yeah. The ability to make food. It's not just cooking ability, it also includes aspects of food preparation like storage and how easy it is to do business with suppliers. It determines how many ingredients you can use in the sliced game and how many components you have in Glass of the Gods. So we start with 1 point in each rating, and then there's games we can play that will increase those ratings. So a rating of 1 in cuisine represents a cramped kitchen, a small pantry, cheap local wines, and a small brick oven. So next up is atmosphere, which unfortunately has to start at 1. And that determines a broad range of visual and other aspects of our tavern. It's the vibe, the feeling, the experience that your patrons get, the smells, decorations, chatter of folks eating at tables around you. They're all part of the atmosphere of our establishment. And a rating of 1 is straw mattresses, narrow chimneys, bare walls.
Well, I mean, it hasn't been that long since this was an operating ship and not a tavern, so I feel like
maybe you
that's
haven't
okay.
quite scrubbed the last of the bird blood off of the
Part of the aesthetic.
Blood-stained decks.
I mean, if we're advertising this as like a pirate ship in some kind of way, I mean, it's like legitimizing, you know.
Is this like the ship is the stage and we like create like a semi-permanent establishment on the docks of whatever city we're at, and we're there for like a month?
Yeah, and then you close it down, and then it's just not it's not operational for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so
Except
like
when we come into town and everyone gets really excited.
yeah, the ship itself is part of the performance for sure.
Okay. And then we have service, which is a measure of how our tavern operates. Is the food getting out quickly into the right tables? Are the beds clean and comfy? Service also represents our tavern being able to hire more people to work at the tavern.
Are bugs falling out of the server's mouth?
God. Every time you gain a point in your service rating, you create a new NPC employee who represents one of the many new hires. Come up with one or use one of the examples listed. So at one point, our singular employee is a former farmhand or an injured local guard. So who is the one service, our one employee? Do we want to pick from the crew?
Yes.
I feel like yes.
Can it be Ento? Let's start.
That's fine by me.
No one else stuck around with.
We have so many crew. We have so much crew who can talk about literally anything other than bugs. We like everybody else can have a conversation about stuff like.
Service rating 1.
You don't have to phrase your order in terms of the way that it relates to a bug in order to get your food. Like, it could be anybody.
I think Into's still around, but maybe not getting a lot of productive tavern work done.
So is that a no on Ento?
I feel like Ento is still here because like so
you
many
tried
bugs.
getting rid of it.
Yeah, but like I don't know.
All right, well, what's a suggestion? I don't think it's odd. I don't think it's any of the sailors. I think they probably kept working elsewhere. Or, I don't know. Well, I get okay. Here's a question: what do we want them to be doing? Because like, Shredder Steel is a baker, right? There's also a number. Well, I was gonna say there was a number of entertainers in the crew, but that number went down during the last battle.
Valerie's still here.
I think that's it.
Oh, we still have the Daredevil Amber survived.
Just doing tumbling act as they bring you your food.
God, sorry, I'm looking at the crew list and I forgot that we included the two men who are strong, but their friendship makes them stronger. Corey and Craig. Sometimes you just need two men.
Sometimes you do just need two men. I mean, if we hire them, we will receive not just the strength of their bodies, but the strength of their emotional bond as well.
They have ups and downs, but they always come to terms with their differences. I love them.
Okay, so I would say either Shredder as a baker, or maybe Mabel in like her elder years, just sort of being like a housekeeper slash.
There's also Bearmy, who's actually a cook.
Oh yeah.
Oh well.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a question: did anyone want to be the chef for this place as their like town job?
I will not lower myself to that.
I thought about it vaguely. I do like cooking, but I don't have to be the only person in this tavern who does the cooking.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. I think bear me. I vote bear me. Anyways.
Sure.
Captain V is the celebrity guest chef. Like,
Yeah, I work happy hour and that's it. Show up to work at 7 o'clock, clock out at 7:30. You know what I mean? Long
you just
hours.
show up and plate one course of meals that Baramy's already prepared.
Jesus.
We lose so much money when you bartend because you're so generous with your pours.
Okay, we got Baramy in the kitchen.
I like to
Yeah.
think I make up for it in tips. Yeah, I like bear meat in the kitchen.
Okay, so now we'll create our characters.
Where were you typing that stuff, Austin?
Which stuff?
Just the information about the tavern.
I put it on the Roll20 page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's. Let me just make sure you're all actually. Yeah, you are not. There we go.
I was gonna say,
Yay!
question, which roll page? Okay.
Why is there a clock?
Because you measure every 3 games, you then do the game where it's about upgrading the tavern.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's the beam saber clock, which like instinctually causes terror in my heart now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So the first step is we come up with our characters' names, but I think we've all done that unless anybody wants to change their character. Actually, here's a question: how long has it been since the storm was consumed by the old worm? Are y'all just like immediately, I'm done with this shit, we're retiring? Or did you keep adventuring for a while?
I think there's some time in between.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably years.
Like at least like two or three adventures, like missions kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just like enough time for the world to like change and situate and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like a decade?
Would I have had to actually learn to be on a ship in a decade? I feel like at that point that
Big
was like a
difference
conscious
between
choice.
had to and should have.
Yeah, but I don't know. 10 years. That's like not knowing what things on ship are called at that point was like a conscious decision. So that's
5?
sure.
5 years. Unless anyone has any other thoughts on the matter.
10 years is a real healthy like adventuring time. 5 years could get kind of intense. I feel like I don't know. I'm just talking at this point.
Let's say 10 years.
Okay. All right. Has there been... so the next question is look. Has there been any notable changes to ourselves? Or any notable things that have stayed the same? I think notably, Hanar hasn't gotten like visibly older in those 10 years. She still looks like her spry 60-something self.
Interesting.
I think that I went through a phase where I like embraced the bug thing and dressed a lot like a spider queen. But I'm over that now. It got in the way with sailing. It's too many layers and draperies.
Dorothy's goth phase.
I think I had a reactionary pastel phase.
Viper, any phases?
Uh,
Or new looks?
She probably cut her hair short. She's got like a mom haircut now.
Aw.
Nice.
Like a short wedge with an undercut.
I'm picturing Dorothy getting one of those Barbie haircuts that kids give their dolls. She had that for a while, but she like rerouted her hair.
All right. For Hanar, she's I don't. It's been a minute since we described her. Christine, could you created her for this? Could you describe her?
Well, she is an older woman. She has like ruddy skin from the sea. She has like a layer of fat all over her body, but like it's like that bulky strength. She's white, short blonde hair, square face. It says white, powerful thighs. Rough voice.
Excellent description.
All right.
Powerful.
Okay. Yeah, all right. So then we describe a couple things about our look. Specifically our weapon, armor, and our eyes. And an adjective for each of those. So, and there's examples in STEWPOT, but, it's not like list everything you got, but just like one notable thing. So for Hanar, for weapon, I'm going to put a worn cutlass. And for armor, I don't think she wears armor. It's like a light tunic. And her eyes are hard. Madam V, why don't you describe, or Sasha, why don't you describe Madam V's look?
Sure. So Madame V's weapon is guns. Her armor is in season. And her eyes are bright.
I would like to make one caveat. The weapon is guns, which is, I feel like, so appropriate.
Also, it's all in capitals too.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just so many guns, as we recall. Christine, could you describe Dorothy's look?
Sure. Her weapon is Galaxy Brain. That is channeled through her shield, which has a Seal of Solomon on it, embroidered in silver thread. Her armor are rock hard abs, like literally, they're like metal hard. But she wears a chiton of varying colors as she feels appropriate, and she has some eyes.
Right there on her face.
Yep. She changes them out sometimes, depending on her mood.
Sometimes they're spiders.
Yeah. She has a nice collection. Would you like to see them?
All right.
Sometimes they're glowing red. Yes, it's definitely a choice. Absolutely done on purpose.
Yep.
And Hadrian, could you describe Viper's look?
Viper's weapon is her hunting spear. Her armor is her thick hide, aka rad bark. And her eyes are now clouded gray. They used to be amber.
Ooh. She doesn't have cardiacs, does she?
No.
Okay, good.
Cataracts?
That's the one.
She doesn't have hearts in her eyes, does she?
Well, maybe. Who knows? Game's not over yet.
Depends on who she's looking at.
All right, so next up is our characters' jobs and experiences. They reflect what our characters were doing before starting this tavern, as well as what we've learned while working at the tavern. So to start, pick an adventurer job and a town job. Then you pick 3 experiences for your adventurer and no experiences for your town job. So the possible adventurer jobs are Paladin, Wizard, Fighter, Rogue, Druid, Bard, Ranger, Swashbuckler. Yeah, Hannah's definitely going to be a Swashbuckler for her adventurer job. And then she will have... Oh, also the experiences you take don't have to be from the job you choose. That's not required. And yeah, okay. The experiences, adventure experiences that Hanar has are sea legs, balance on any surface, barbed tongue, your words hit where they hurt, and bravado, never falter.
Hell yeah.
So Dorothy was a magic caber, or the wizard. She has Fireball, Mastery of Flame, Magic Missile, Projectiles of Astounding Accuracy, and Arcana. Your knowledge of the magical and unusual is unparalleled.
Madam V, how about yours?
Madam V's adventure job was combat soprano. I have an alluring voice, the voice of an angel, golden words, convince anyone of anything, and animal companion, gentleman moose.
Yeah, gotta have that moose.
And the job I'm vying for is apothecary.
We'll get to the town jobs. Viper, what are your details?
Viper was the Graven Guard, aka a fighter. Her experiences are Master of Arms, armed and dangerous with anything, endurance, nothing can stop you, and guidance, a sign from your deity.
All right. So for town, so then we pick our town jobs. Let's see. Well, Sasha, you said you had an idea for your town job.
Yeah, I figure between the one level of keeper that I managed to take during play and all of the coffee that I've made over the course of this adventure, I want to be an apothecary. I want to take that seriously.
Okay.
No longer just a hobbyist.
Dorothy, how about you?
Scholar.
All right, Viper.
Priest.
Hmm.
Whoa.
That's. I'm surprised that Madam V didn't go with orator.
I considered it. I did. But if I'm retiring from combat soprano, I feel like really just a change of pace, you know? And it's not to say that I'm not gonna take stuff from orator, but it's just change of pace.
Yeah. What does Hanar do after retiring? That is still on the boat.
She could be a guard.
I thought about that, but I want to do something a little less expected. I'm gonna go with merchant. She's gonna try her hand at that. Okay. So, now that we've got our characters set up, now it's time for the first step. Before you decided to put down roots here, before you found this group of friends, what were you doing? What was the first thing you learned about how to live in town? So, setup. Everyone plays. Every character gains 1 town experience. Take turns describing a short scene that led to that experience. Another player or players might come with you, although they do not gain that same experience. If you're stuck, choose one of the options below. And then there's a list of potential ideas. So, does anyone have any ideas about a scene representing your path towards settling down?
I do.
Go for it.
Okay. But this isn't actually really. I just have something to say that I was struggling a little bit reading the rules because my intention with Dorothy was to examine an allegory about generational trauma and like how it expresses itself and how you deal with it, and then the idea of like stopping it was like really scary, I guess, like the idea of like giving up. But then I realized that, like recovery isn't giving up. I guess. Yeah. So Dorothy's first move is going to like sort of bleed into that, because she's trying to embrace her current situation as opposed to fighting to change everything. So she is going to. I don't know who you speak about this. I don't know. The boss of Enclave? I'm gonna go talk to the boss of Enclave about brokering a deal with the rat community about in exchange for a set amount of grains per diem. They are going to leave stockpiles alone. And then they're not, and hopefully that they're going to be reducing the amount of human related deaths in the rat community.
And how's that go?
It doesn't go well to start, but then we organize a protest where they just like really get into the grain, and then we show like the amount of damage that the rats can do, and so to put a stop to it, they meet with the rat leaders and me brokering the deal, and I think that we work things out eventually, but they don't agree that they're going to stop killing the rats if they find them in the grain. But with the grain supplement, the rats don't need to steal the grain.
Okay.
Hell yeah, collective action. Join the rat union today.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what town experience are you taking from that?
Oh, we take town experience?
From this one, yep.
Come back to me on that. I had to figure out how that applies.
All right. Does anyone else have a example of something they do to represent sort of settling down?
I do.
Go for
it. So I think that Madam V starts to pay really close attention to the flora of the places that they stop, and like starts like picking up books on them and talking to florists and gardeners and farmers and stuff about the flowers and things that they grow like seasonally and stuff, and starts to coordinate her looks to go along with them so that she can foster them on her own skirts and things. And for that, I am taking a botanist to know every plant in the area.
Cool. All right. Hadrian, do you have something in mind? Or do you need more time?
No, I think over the years, as I continued to travel and found more and more like pockets of civilization and regularly visited, Viper started spending more time helping people deal with the like catastrophic loss that the entire world had experienced over the last decade, and gained the ritual experience, which is the knowledge of the traditions and customs of many different groups.
Christine, do you need more time?
No, handler, caring for and communicating with animals.
Yeah. All right. So, for Hanar, I think it's that it's one time where she gets into port and she tells Bearme to stay on the ship while she goes to arrange like the supplies and stuff for what the ship is gonna need, because she's been like shadowing him for a while. And so she goes and she meets up with their usual supplier, and it doesn't go how she wanted it to, because she's like, I'm gonna practice my haggling, and the seller is like, no, here, look, I'll get you what you need, let's talk about this, let's be reasonable, you're an old client. And
put down the knife.
And so they like work it out and chat and sort of like start to become acquaintances, or like more closely. And so I'm going to take the back room, satisfy most everyday needs. Okay. And that's one game done. So, does anyone have an idea for the next game that they want to do?
Let's see. Is there just a list? There's not just a list, is there?
No, I don't believe so.
Time to scroll. Let's see.
Except for don't do In the Rhythm of Things, because that's the last game we play.
Right.
Good speedrun STEWPOT. What's good? What if a friendly tavern brawl, though?
Yeah, you want to do one of those?
It's gonna happen sometime. That's
I don't have an idea for it. I just feel it in my heart. You know what I mean?
Class of the gods. Distinguished guest. Do we get a distinguished guest first thing?
Good.
What? Okay, if we get the distinguished guest, is it Ingrel or is it Broadwing?
Those are the options. You don't have other options.
No. I mean, there are other characters too, of course. Those are just like, I guess, the two ends of the spectrum. I mean, there's also like Commander Hastings,
There's the Northerner.
Elder Sibling Dynastisel. Yeah, I guess there's the Northerner and Doc Biggins.
Oh, Doc Biggins. Oh, how long has it been?
Bigger than before. I want to do off the clock.
Okay.
Yeah, so where do you go after the tables are wiped down? Who's heard every story you have about the worst people who have walked in? So anyone can play. Each player describes the first thing their character is doing to wind down. Let loose or otherwise forget about work for a while. So take turns. On your turn, choose a prompt from the list below. This is page 38. Or come up with your own. Ask one or more players to join you. Describe what happens together or roleplay the scene out. If nothing comes to mind, you can pass or look at the time and realize you have to get back to work. When everyone has passed in a row or gone back to work, the game is over. So let's see. What is Hannah gonna do? Let's see. Oh, okay. I know what it is. It's the middle of summer, it's scorching, and you desperately need to swim. Where's the secret spot you found together? Honestly, it's not a secret spot, right? It's just like...
Just jumping off the boat.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I think it is just like swimming off the side of the ship while it's in dock. Or... Oh, maybe... Oh, no, I know what it is. So we've stopped at the creche. Or... No, we stopped at Ashwood.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a dock has been built on the north side of the island. And like the lumber company is going, and so Hannah decides she's going to make the trek over to the other side of the island to the creche to go have a swim because she remembers how nice the water was there.
Yeah.
Is anyone going to join her for a swim?
I think it's pretty clear. Yes. Definitely.
Well, I would appreciate the ride, if not the swim.
Just Madame V, her feet propped up on the back of Gentleman Moose's head, under an umbrella that is strapped to his saddle, with like a botany book in hand. Yeah. So Hannah strips down to her skivvies and jumps in the water and is just like enjoying the nice clear water of the creche. Just swimming around. I don't think that there's anything like exciting other than Just
I think
enjoying
there
the nice
is
water.
something
Oh,
exciting. I think there is something very exciting. There's a whale pup.
Oh.
This isn't heretical, is it? Viper? Like, this is okay?
No, this is fine.
Okay.
This is basically what I did for like 150 years.
well, that's good, because I didn't realize that it being heretical was a possibility. It just is a nice place to swim.
I could appreciate a religion whose whole thing is playing with whale pups. Cute. Very good.
It's literally my whole job. It's fucking great.
Except for that dying part, that didn't seem too great.
Well.
Small price to pay.
Small price to pay.
Everybody does it. Eventually. Theoretically.
Me?
I guess we'll find out.
Never.
Still working on that one.
That's how I stay young. I swim.
I appreciate that your immortality plan is just don't die. Just don't do it.
Yeah,
What is that?
death? What's that? I don't know. Never met it.
Well,
Unrelatable.
Who has a little thing about being off the clock that they want to do?
I think Dorothy's been getting really into entomology. I think her and Ento have been like building a collection in like the stables now that the stables aren't really used except for Gentleman Moose, and just sort of like it's just like a wall of pinned bugs. We're just like, this is our wall.
Do you by any chance keep bees?
No,
What,
she hasn't. If you bring up the idea of mead, then Dorothy would probably be an ideal beekeeper since she doesn't have any feeling. She doesn't even need to smoke them. She just needs to just go in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the bees will be fine. We'll have plenty of flowers on deck for, I mean, your dress alone.
To be honest, it was a very selfish suggestion.
It sounds like a lot of fun. And then Ento is in like a little beekeeper outfit all the time now. He just likes it. Yes.
I was half expecting you to say a little bee outfit.
Oh no.
Just like the kinds you put on like a dog, like a small dog.
He's not an insect. That's silly.
It does have a bee pattern on the beekeeper outfit though.
Yes.
So, you know.
So that's what Dorothy's doing to cut loose. I guess is that that's what she's up to while the rest of us have gone to the beach.
Yeah, I got distracted debating with Ento about a certain classification of butterfly and moth, and he thinks it's a moth. I think it's a butterfly. It's a big debate.
All right. Who else has an idea about what they're doing off the clock?
Let's see. Does Viper have anybody left to spar with on a regular basis?
I mean, other than the four of us, Bear Me's the only other like crew member, I think. Since the ship, doesn't really need to be crude too much, and he ain't a kind of the type to spar.
You saying Hanar isn't?
No, I don't think Hanar is interested in sparring. I think if you like bring it up, she's like, no, I only fight when I need to. I don't think it's something she gets fun out of.
I
I
think.
think I. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, Dorothy definitely tries to spar with you, and the goal is try to catch her. Gotta catch her. Slippery. And just like little rabbit punches.
Viper, it's like
Rock'em Sock'em Robot.
yeah, it's like when you're like 4 and sparring with your dad.
No, I'm really strong. I cast Brawn on myself several times.
Just accidentally one punches Viper.
Yeah, so Viper's like totally treating it like playtime until you get like you get her once good on the jaw, and then she's like, "All right, you little shit." And then some good old wrestling.
Yeah.
Right? V, is there anything you're doing to let loose?
I think I will grab some food around the corner. Let's see. At this particular island, what would be good? Maybe it's excuse me. Maybe it's a kind of cooked snake that that they make in Ashwood. That Madame V has just become completely obsessed with. Yeah. It's I think it's closer to like street cart food than anything else. It's like a snack kind of thing. But yeah, I think she has a bit of a frenzied day, trying as many variations of this from as many different people as possible. And of course she gets one for everyone she's with. Yeah.
Snake kebabs.
You just put it right through the sink.
Yeah.
All right.
Bring a snake kebab back to Viper. If I should take this personally or not, and then she just chomps it.
It's good though, right?
Yeah, it's fucking good. They're all white meat, you know.
I have something that Dorothy does, but only in secret,
Go
which
for
you
it.
guys may or may not figure out. When you guys are sleeping, like mortals do, I go down to my bunk and I've been making little tiny outfits for Foxglove and Primrose, and just sort of dressing them up. No, I must know. Little tiny booties, and like sometimes Primrose is a cowboy, and or sometimes I dress Primrose like a cow, and then I put like cowboy gear on Foxglove, and then like I put them on top of each other, and I'm amused.
Man, in an era of Instagram, fucking Dorothy's secret would be so fucking useful. But here and now, in the fantasy world, where Instagram clout is nothing, it passes unremarked.
It's my secret, and no one must know.
I think, yeah, Hannah decides that she spent enough time lazing about the beach and heads back to work. She's got books, ledgers to look over. Since Baramy's doing the cooking now, she's sort of taken over the quartermaster role, but was taking over the merchantry, so she's getting back to work. Anyone else have something they want to detail?
I think I'll take these. I'll go back to the ship and try to reverse engineer some of these snake spits with Baramy. See what we can do.
I think Viper just spent some time realizing she gets sore a lot faster than she used to after chasing Dorothy around. So at some point, Viper's definitely just sort of flat, sprawled on her back on the deck, just looking at the sky for a while. Thinking, I can't remember the last time my back actually hurt. Is that it for off the clock?
If no one else has any other things, we play this game until everyone has passed or until everyone's gone back
right,
to work.
That's right.
That's up to me.
Dorothy, Viper.
I think that's it for Viper.
Okay. All right. Who has another game they want to do?
I would like to play Sliced.
Sliced. Okay. You can handle typical tavern food fine. You've got a very nice stew, great bread from a baker down the street, and plenty of ale. But sometimes supply routes get disrupted, or maybe you just want to stand out from the rest of the taverns. Whatever the reason, you're playing this game because you want or need to do one thing: cook with monster parts. To determine what ingredients are at the core of your dish, draw 3 cards. So is Madam V the chef for this?
Yes.
All right. So draw 3 cards from a standard deck. For each card drawn, roll 2 6-sided dice to determine how large the ingredient source is and where it's from. Those cards are smaller than is convenient. Can they be grown? Yes. All right.
Let's forget that the maps we've been using are very large.
All right. So, a 7 of spades, a jack of diamonds, and a king of clubs.
King is also spades.
Oh. My bad.
I have no idea whether or not that even matters.
Me neither. Okay, so you rolled for this. Did you roll from left to right, Sasha?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for the 7 of spades, that's a 2 and a 2, so it's small and from a snowy region. And Spades are plants and plant-based products, fresh berries, dried bark, juice made this morning, starchy roots, crisp leaves, stalks, aromatic flowers, pulp, sweet sap. And a 7 has the natural camouflage feature. So it's a plant with natural camouflage. It's small and from a snowy region.
Oh, this is from this is a flower or maybe a root that grows. Oh, it's definitely a root that grows on Mount Atlas.
All right. And then Jack of Diamonds. Diamonds are seasonings, crushed minerals, rich fermented sauces, powdered spices, flavored oils, thickening agents.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to do that. You are.
What?
Y'all are. Sorry.
Oh, wait, what? We messed up?
Are we the ones that describe?
Oh, yes. Each other player will then describe the ingredient in more detail and tell you a highlight of this ingredient or a difficulty you may have while cooking it. Your character is a competent cook. Just remember to mention how you get around an ingredient difficulty, or you may be criticized for it at the end of the game. So it's a root from Mount Atlas. Tell you a highlight of this ingredient or a difficulty. Difficulty is that it's extremely tough. Like, it's not like a root the way that, like, a potato is a root or a carrot is a root. It's like a root-ass root, like from a tree.
Nice.
But a highlight of it is that it's got an extremely sweet core. Just like, it's like cane sugar inside. So then, for the Jack of Diamonds, Hadrian, why don't you take this one? Do you want me to go through the description of it, or?
The numbers were 5 and 3.
Yeah.
So it's giant and underwater. Oh boy.
Oh, in the Arctic.
Is this a different ingredient, or is this still?
This is the Jack of Diamonds.
Okay, so we're describing 3 different ingredients, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And diamonds. Diamonds are seasonings, crushed minerals, rich fermented sauces, powdered spices, flavored oils, or thickening agents. Do
you see what the Jack is?
Oh, no.
Oh, parasitic.
Oh my God.
Okay. Giant underwater parasitic used for seasoning. I think this is like a. Oh, this is gonna sound gross. I think this is like a. I don't even know what type of taxonomy it would be, but it's like a jelly. It's like a sludge that grows on the very bottom of reefs where all the dead things fall.
Like a slime?
Yes, a slime. I forgot that slimes are like things in real life too, not just fantasy worlds. Yeah, so it's a slime that grows at the bottom of reefs, and it can be dehydrated to make. What kind of flavor would it have? When you dehydrate it, it's like sea salt, but it's like sea salt, but it hits different.
Great.
Sea salt, but got some punch.
It's like sea salt, but if you just use sea salt, everybody will know.
Mmm. All right. And sorry, did you describe the difficulties
Oh,
and the highlights? I guess the highlight is that
yeah,
it's
all this stuff's on so many different pages, I forget to keep scrolling. Well, I think the difficulty is just that it's at the difficulty with cooking it. It's very easy to set on fire.
but you gotta dry it out.
Super combustible.
Yeah. Once it's dehydrated, it's highly flammable.
All right, Christine, why don't you describe the King of Spades?
Yeah, so this is a tiny underwater unique berry. So it's a berry that forms off of underwater plant, but it only fruits about like once every 5 years or so. And the berries, when cooked, have just like they caramelize just so good. Like it has like that crispy texture, but like also has like a burst of juice if you do it just right. But if you don't cook it just right, it is poisonous.
How poisonous are we talking?
Pretty poisonous.
Like fugu poisonous or like the runs poisonous?
Like botulism poisonous. You might be numb forever.
Pretty bad. Pretty bad sounds like that's pretty bad. All right.
Okay. So with that, tasters, which I believe is the rest of us, you are the test group for this new dish. The player characters, a small group of trusted regulars or a handful of strangers at a big tasting event. Each of you has something that you want from this dish. Come up with something on your own or use the examples below.
I want to feel alive. Taste that poison fruit.
Is this Dorothy making a request? Because you could create another NPC or...
No, if it was Dorothy, it would be all about mouthfeel, because she doesn't eat.
Is this
no, I think this person is interested in trying like dangerous foods cooked to perfection.
Is this the daredevil from the crew?
Yes.
Who was that? Was that Amber?
Amber Fire Tender.
Yeah. Let's see. What does Hanar want? She wants something fluffy.
Something fluffy.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to take better notes. 1 second. Something that makes you feel alive.
Mhm.
Something fluffy. Did you say light and fluffy or just fluffy?
Just fluffy.
Okay.
It can be heavy and fluffy.
Dense and fluffy.
And Viper's like, if this is special occasion food, I want something that's gonna make my mouth numb.
The fuck?
Okay. Piper doesn't want to taste anything ever again.
No, that's different.
Wants her mouth to be numb from this experience.
Just a little bit of poisoning.
Very lightly poisoned, okay. Is that everyone? Is it everyone's got their order in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
So
when you get hit in the face with the exact right amount of force.
So, now cooking the dish. Roll a number of dice equal to 4 plus your cuisine rating. Place dice on the following squares. Follow the prompts that correspond to the numbers on the dice that were placed.
Okay. So I get 5 dice?
Yeah.
Because we have a cuisine of 1.
Yeah.
So that's just 5d6.
Yep.
Boy, that sucks. Cool.
Hachi machi.
2, 1, 3, 2, 3.
Ouch.
So now you assign them to the categories of goal, seasoning, presentation, and texture.
Oh boy.
Well, at least you got 2 3s, so
This is fine. Well, I'll put this 1 in goal because there's no way for me to succeed at that. Because a 4 to 6 is you succeed, and a 1 to 3 is something goes wrong. So, that's where that goes. And I have 2 3s to distribute, which is like things going kind of okay, and then the catastrophic result, which is the 2s and 1s that I still have left. I'll say texture is the thing that goes wrong here. That makes sense to me.
that goes wrong.
Yes. Then I'll put the 2 in.
Okay, so food probably shouldn't be this texture. Tasters, describe what inedible materials this dish reminds you of.
I think there's like, it tastes like there's sand in it. It's like, it's gritty, kind of.
I'm reminded of shards of glass, because there's definitely still bits of the hard outer shell of the root in this.
And somehow I'm getting pencil eraser, like it's hard and also chewy.
Notes.
Thank you. Yes. Great. Great to
Scribbling
hear.
in her notebook.
Probably the slime didn't dry quite right, is what that was.
In the seasoning and presentation, we're both 3.
It's fine. Presentation, yeah, those are the 2 that I put the 3s in. The dish looks pretty good. Everything is right where it needs to be. Cook player describes one flourish they are proud of. Let's see. Okay. So it's roots and berries and slime or powdered slime, I guess.
Could be. I mean, it could be anything, just made with those things.
It could, yeah. That's just I'm like painting the word picture, right? Those are my ingredients to paint them with because that's how painting works. So it's probably like a chicken, like a cooked chicken, or like something similarly sized bird that has been roasted in this stuff. I think or the chicken's been pulled actually, so it's like shredded chicken and the
shredded chicken.
Yeah, with the root kind of interspersed in it, and the berries all throughout and the slime on top. Yeah, the thing that the flourish that I'm proud of is there's one of the roots that I left like I like half cooked and like kind of like split open to look. It looks a little bit like a fucked up octopus.
Aw.
Like I speared 2 of the berries for its eyes, and it just kind of like looms over the entire thing.
All right. And for the seasoning, this seems almost right, but it's missing a little something. What flavor do you want more of, or what spice do you add as you're eating? One taster answers.
I don't feel like I'm gonna die. This is a problem.
Well, what's missing from it?
Like, my left arm isn't going numb, and I was kind of hoping for that. Just like, not a full heart attack, just like, you know?
No. What would you add to make it better?
Maybe more of the berries?
Maybe. I still have some that are still raw. If you want to fucking.
No, because I don't want to, like... No, I don't want to... I just want, like, the thrill of, like, almost, you know?
You want the edge of death.
Yes.
You want to see the worm's face. You don't want to like.
Yes, I don't want to shake his hand.
Toe to toe.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I'm sorry. The swearing was not canonical.
Okay. So, resolve the prompts. We did that. If any characters loved the dish.
I don't think Madam V described what went wrong with that one in the goal.
Oh,
You know, I sure didn't.
that's true.
Wow, thanks so much for noticing that. Great eye. Just eagle-eyed as usual, Viper. Thank you. What goes wrong? Well, it doesn't hurt the people that are eating it, which is apparently a bad thing. That I made this to be like edible and nice for like living after you eat it.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's nice.
Edible for living after you eat it.
But why would you want to live?
You're still alive after you've eaten it.
Yes, that's not the part I'm mmming.
I know, I've redacted everything else. Now it's right.
Oh, okay.
It's just I think what happened if we're to examine the scene of the crime is that I got caught
Your palates are wrong.
No, listen, it's when a work doesn't land. I come from commercial art, which means that when a work doesn't land, it's not the fault of the audience, it's the fault of the artist. This is cooking is a very commercial art. So I misjudged my audience is what happened, and also I got into a very lively discussion and lost track of time while everything was cooking. And these are very the timers on all these ingredients are very particular, very specific. So I was timing them, but I know better. I know now that that I need to keep an eye on that more closely next time. So it's a learning experience, and thank you very much for taste testing. And get out of my kitchen, thanks.
And I never want to see you again.
No refunds. Bye. One of the options for resolving this is write down a new named NPC who has this as their favorite dish.
Unlikely.
Unlikely. Possible. But improbable.
Hadrian or Christine, do either of you have a game in mind?
Scrolling. Is it time for the brawl?
If that's what you want to do, we can do that.
Fight night, fight night, fight night.
Every tavern has its rowdy patrons. You know they're good at heart, but sometimes when the ale is flowing and spirits are high, things get a little out of hand. How do you handle the situation? One or more players are the brawlers. They can be player characters or NPCs. What is the disagreement that caused the first punch to be thrown?
And then there are also de-escalators.
Yep.
This can be one, but should usually be several player characters. What made you get involved? Who's first to intervene? So here's the question. Which of these is Viper?
I think Viper's the de-escalator.
Okay. Hanar's throwing hands.
Huh?
Who's catching them?
Christine, Sasha, do either of you have an idea for an NPC, or is Hanar getting into a fist fight with Dorothy or V over something?
God, that'd be so fucking funny. I'm just looking at the crew.
There's lots of other NPCs we've encountered too over if you don't want to have Hanar beating on one of the former crew.
Crew.
This also could, this could just be some rando.
Yeah. And if you need ideas for characters, I'll pull up my GM notes. If
I have an idea for a brawler.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the crew of the fucking whatever, I think they're lying. I don't know. I mean, like, they said that they, like, defeated the storm. No, but maybe it just, like, went away. Like, that storm, like, always.
Who is this asshole?
Yeah, does this person have, like, a group of people that they're, like, preaching to, or...
Yeah. They have a group of friends, and they're just like, oh, okay, look, I have, like, my cousin had, like, a friend who was on the Quodlibet, and my cousin, like, said it was, like, something made up. So, I think this is just a big thing, so they can just, like, sell more beer or whatever. But, like, the beer isn't even that good, so they would, like, I have to do that.
Hanar just snatches the ale from this person's hand with one hand, and then punches them in the nose with the other.
Hey, that's not, like, cool. That's, like, super mean.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I did not come from the west coast of Enclave to this, like, little shit like, hole in the fucking...
Who's the actual brawler? Is it this person, or is it this person's, like, asshole boyfriend?
It could be both of us. We can both be brawlers. And I just realized that I was going for more just, like, general drunk person, but I like Sasha's, like, we are white girl drunk.
Hey, that is, like, not okay.
Like, oh my god. Karen, are you okay?
Jenny, I can't believe this is happening.
Shut up, you stupid bitches! We put our necks on the line for you and the rest of that city. You should fucking respect us.
You can't fucking call Jennifer a bitch. She's sometimes like, yeah, okay, sometimes, but you can't say that.
Karen's the only one who can call me a bitch. Oh my god, take this. I'm gonna claw your eyes out right now.
Oh my god, you
Hannah just fucking front kicks one of them over a table.
Do these people pose any threat to Hanar physically?
I got, like, really long nails and a bunch of rings on, so yeah.
It's less about Hanar, it's more about the rest of the fucking tavern. Because whoever I forgot, I've immediately forgotten this person's name. But they start just, like, throwing plates and shit.
Yeah.
So,
and, like, already vomiting the plant.
Yeah.
So, for breaking up the fight, de-escalators follow the steps to stop the fight. Brawlers respond appropriately. At least one experience should be used during one of the steps. And remember, after you use an adventure experience, you gain a town experience. So, the first step is the approach. De-escalators. The first thing you need to do is interrupt the fight. How do you draw their attention?
Let's see. Viper was outside, like, I don't know, like dropping off a load of firewood or something outside the kitchen door, and hears Hanar yelling, and then like the crash of a table or something. So her ears perk up, and she like bursts through the door and makes a quick assessment of the chaos, and then pulls out her bosun's whistle, which she Hanar hates it when she uses it. And just draws in a big deep breath and lets it go. There's too much property damage going on.
Brawlers, how do you lash out? What do you say that you shouldn't have? I fucking hate it when you use that thing! And she just like rips it out of your hand and like tears the strap that it's on.
Oh, I think she might be on like drugs or something.
Is it a sailor's thing? Because the vibes in this establishment are fucking rancid.
The separation. De-escalators. How do you put space between the brawlers? Is there something else you can get them to focus on?
Not to the talk down phase yet. This is just going to be a physical. Viper just becomes a physical barrier between the two sides of this fight. She's big enough to do it.
Move! You're in the way. I can't. I don't care about. I just want to fight this person.
I'm throwing cutlery at you.
Hanar definitely like lunges at them, but you know, Viper like just has a big wooden arm between the two sides, and so like
yeah, somebody, at least one of us, needs to use an experience during this fight. So
yeah, that should probably be you since you're.
Yeah, I think Viper is using. What we got? I think Viper's using endurance to just like just absorb the blows between as they try to lunge at each other and fight, and she just purposefully gets in the way every time, and it's like hitting a wall.
Just forks and knives sticking out of your arms and stuff.
Yeah.
Viper's had a worse put into her arms. Okay. The talk down. De-escalators. How do you ensure that the fight won't break out again tonight? Brawlers, how are you feeling? What almost makes you start up the fight again?
This fucking bitch thinks she's better than me.
It's not better than you. You're the best.
You know, you're the
so
best.
cool.
No.
You're so. Look at your hair.
Hanar.
No.
What?
You're fighting drunk children.
Drunk babies! Oh no, where'd they get that, Uncle?
Yeah, they need to be spanked.
Whoa.
Whoa. Okay. I'll like that. Oh my god.
We need to like have a conversation about that first.
Yeah, I know, right? Consent. Oh my god.
They need to be cut off and sent home.
No, come on. One more round.
Whatever. And she just throws her hands up along with the bosun's whistle and storms out.
Where did they even get Cosmos?
Madam V was bartending. This was during happy hour.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah. Hannah's still pissed at these ingrates,
Oh my god. Are you
but
okay?
she leaves.
Okay, she almost killed us.
Okay. And Viper is taking them out
So,
Just tucking each of them under your arms.
if necessary. Yeah.
so
This is so unfair. You're so strong. You're so strong. Your arms, your biceps are so huge.
I'm just vomiting.
That's the thing that gets to Viper finally. She's like, ugh, fuck.
Someone hold my hair back. Someone get my hair off my face.
I can't reach. You're on the other side of this huge tree, girl.
Gets them out the door.
everyone has been picked up off the floor and dusted off. Together, answer
Literally.
the aftermath questions. Were any of the player characters hurt? If yes, how do you help each other recover? I don't know. I don't think Hanar got hurt.
What about emotionally?
Yeah, maybe a little bit emotionally. Like, she's
I
probably
fought for this country.
yeah, basically. You know, I think she is. She definitely is like, sort of wondering like, how many people actually give a shit about what we did? What about Viper? Is she hurt at all?
Viper got hurt in that some of that cutlery actually drew blood.
Jesus. Just a steak knife sticking out of
No,
her.
not sap, and then that's the significant part.
How do we all help each other recover?
Dorothy's on cleanup duty because she doesn't have a sense of smell, so it's okay. She like takes Viper out back and hoses her off.
Hanar, come sit down. Let me make you a drink. Let's talk about this.
All right.
Viper's like, hey Dorothy, can you do that thing you always do with the healing and magic stuff?
Oh, sure. I thought you meant the thing where I take off my head and put it in my arms and like pretend I'm a puppet. But yeah,
No, I
okay.
That's great too, but
Why would that be
she looks at her
appropriate right
bleeding
now?
arm.
Oh yeah. I'll do that right up. Viper's greatest foe to date.
Who sharpens the cutlery around here? It's ridiculous.
Sorry, I get bored when you guys are all sleeping, and I just like try to like help out and.
Well, it's gotta cut through the roots, you know?
Yeah, get y'all healed up and hosed down.
Okay. Was there significant damage to the tavern? If so, what is it going to take to fix it?
I mean, some broken plates, right? But I don't know.
This didn't seem like an infrastructural level.
Yeah. Okay. How do you deal with the brawlers? Are they banned? Do they need to pay a fine?
We cut off Madame V from serving drinks after like 10 minutes.
Oh,
Oh, okay, we don't do that. But we
no,
don't.
I will keep the tequila until at least after 10. Sorry.
Yeah.
Scout's honor.
We start doing some. We train up some smart our servers.
So no penalties are levied against Hanar or those two drunk ladies.
I mean,
I think the plates, I guess.
I think if the ladies come back, Hannar's not gonna let them in. But other than that,
Okay. All right.
Okay. When you use an experience, or what happens then? Does something happen?
Using your experiences. When you use one or more adventure experiences in a game, at the end of that game, you can choose one of those adventure experiences, cross it out, and mark a new town experience in your town job. Narrate a short scene that describes what led to this new experience. It does not have to be related to what just happened in the game, because time is passing between games as well, and characters have lives outside their work. These scenes should be about 1 to 3 sentences.
Okay, let's see what new town experience Viper has. Endurance has been crossed out. Viper is apparently stoppable now.
Alright, and what does she gain?
I think she gains warm presence, which is others feel comfort around you. Your words soothe the soul. And I know it doesn't have to be related, but I think it is somewhat related in that the first bit of us seeing this is when Viper is in some other bar somewhere and meets these same two girls. And like actually has a conversation with them and treats them like people and makes a couple new friends.
Oh,
That's nice.
They're just mean junks.
Yeah.
Okay. So, after every 3 games, we play Wear and Tear, but before you play Wear and Tear,
Break time.
we take a break. So, we will be back shortly. See y'all then.